where the Jesuses and the Buddhas, but you know, you can't get there until you open up and you set your soul free. The truth will set you free, right? Once you emancipate yourself from mental slavery, 'cause none but you can free your mind. No fear for atomic energy. No one can stop the time. So, time's not going to stop, guys, but right now, if you spread this video, if everybody watches this video and really takes into account that this is them, this is everybody. It's not without your house or your own, because the house is the world, and this is depicting all of us. This is the reaction of what is going to happen is the reaction of us. It is all of us. It's going to be our demise, or it's going to be our triumph. Our triumph or our fall. Or stand together or divide, right? And that's the truth. That's where we're at. So it's all those prophecy. Like, again, I'll say it a million times probably, but it depicts and it'll show you the things that you see today. The coronavirus is going to show you that the people dying from the viruses, the vaccines. They're going to show you. He shows you, and this is all written from the Egyptian gods, guys. This is scriptures and tablets that they've tried to take away and not give to you. And we have this knowledge. Look it up. Take the time, because it's God-given time. This is your divine time to do what you will in this life and to get what you want out of this life. And what you want more than anything, guys, is truth and love, peace on earth, and harmony. Let's stop killing and let's stop being silly. Like, we are all calling each other's names, but up until you unload yourself and take that mask off and realize you are soul and not body, and you are not living in the Joneses world, but you are living in God's world and divine, which is I'm God and you are God, and we are all God. We are divine consciousness. We are the energy of life, the energy of consciousness of all. And once you realize that, the beauty of life. That is the beauty of life, guys. Some of the metaphors of life is so fucking awesome now that you, like, when you actually go, epiphany, I get it now. I see past all the facade. I see, because real eyes will realize, and then you can look past the lies and see your truth. And the truth will set you free. It'll set your soul free, and then we can live in freedom and truth and love. And love will steer the guide and steer the planets and guide the stars. We can change our stars right now. This is our changing star moment. It is your time to wake up and realize you're fork in the road. So you can either love or hate, and you know which road that's going to go to, because the hating road goes to 2/3. 1/3 is totally wiped out of the human, of all of Earth. 1/3 of human, of all of it's going to be wiped out soon. This is the past. Prophecies are all real, and these are the paths. We know them both. We know them both now. We've been seeing them both. We've been given both sides. Okay, so we know of both the two end. We know A and B, which path, and we've been given the one where. Anyway, sorry. You can make your own choice, and you know what I mean. You can understand what I'm saying by that. And so just look them up. Look up Age of Aquarius and the song and everything that was wrote in the '60s. Just like a lot of the songs are your legends, they're your truths. They're the truths that came out in the words that they're trying to get to the worldwide people. So if you stop thinking you know the song, stop singing along with it in your head and actually listen. Because emancipate yourselves from mental slavery, it means to stop being within your mind and let yourself go. Leave out your eyes. Look. Use your own brain for what you know is true. Your true self and your true knowledge of what you know within your experience. Not told you, not written in a book, not what you're told to believe or what a belief even is. Okay? Really, really look. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Get yourself out of that mental blockage. As well, John Lennon. Stop playing those mind games. Yeah. See the mind games? If you really listen and look at the words, go look up, get on your phone, we're all on it anyway, go look up all these songs and start reading them, and then you're going to realize, holy shit, and then you say, no fear for atomic energy, no one can stop the time, the time's not going to stop, so it's the here and the now. Like I said, this is your choice to stand with love, stand together, or divide and fall. Let the corruption that is, I'm going to go ahead and say that the Jews the Jews betrayed the original Jews in the Holy Land, and the ones, and it doesn't matter whether they're the Jews or whatever, what plan, stop, Ozzy, sit, where it happened, because it just seemed to have happened there, it's Christian, it doesn't matter, none of that matters. Those are cosmic laws of the universal, they're not worries, so don't worry and depict our onto looks, or just really, really pay attention within yourself and listen to this. In the Bible it says that beware of the Jews who claim to be the Jews and are not the Jews. Therefore, are also the ones I'm going to go ahead and say are the evil, right? The evil, the devil, the ones that are not on the greater good, the humanitarian side, and humanity being one with all for one, would be God. It's you and I and you. And like, Sunday was also corrupted because Sunday's not our holy day. Sabbath was. Sabbath. To live in Sabbath is to live with humanity, all is one is all. And Saturday was the original, like, you can get together and party with your friends on a Saturday, because within you, it is to be with humanity and to be with your friends and to help each other out. As you do unto others, do unto yourself, is humanity, and it's Saturdays. See, the churches and everything, the doctrine, that they thought they made themselves God, and they separated you from your God and your divine true self. And they played this storybook of their, it's just simple. We've had enough, because at this point we know that the taxes were made up. It's just a number they put on the materialistic goods of the spirits and shit, the rocks and the Mother Earth. That's the material. So taxes aren't real, right? And death, we know we're not real. A body dies, goes back to the earth, but I get on my life, my consciousness, my life, and my soul path is ever infinite. It's an infinity. Into infinity and beyond, with my multi-universes within my universe kind of deal. So we know that death and taxes are not real, right? So really think of that. And now, there's nothing sure in life, which means there's nothing sure in life. So when you really break that down and think of it, oh yeah, that means if there's nothing sure, then it's not true. Nothing can be true if it's not sure, right? Because true is true. Okay? True is true, and that is it. And it can only be true if it's true. That's it. It doesn't waver. It's not sure or unsure. It's true. So, nothing sure in life but death and taxes is like a slap in your face. Really think about it. Because what they made you understand in that sentence, and they put it through all families they told you in a joke, haha, nothing it's real, nothing haha, you're funny, but you better be afraid of the death and the taxes. It'll keep you in that monotone, it'll keep your higher frequency down, it'll keep you in that tone of slavery where you only choose 10%, and you will condition yourself to slave for me. Not me, I'll slave for you. Not for you, corrupt ones. No, I will not. For all of humanity. Any humanitarian out there like Trump doing it for no money because it's for the greater good shows you. When you see that, when you see it's not for the root of all evil and for the greater good, you know who to stand by, because you know where they stand. And they stand with you. They stand as they will not give you over to the enemy. And they will not. And I will not. As do unto others, do unto yourself. Ride or die. It is the fork of the road, the path, the soul path. It's that time for all of us to understand our path right now is either divide and fall or stand together and live in love and peace, right? This is as one, as we are one conscious energy, all of us. It is the time for all of us to understand we are the one. We are the one. We are Neo. All of us. Guys, you're Neo, I'm Neo. We're Neo. Let's be Neos. And that's the way, it's beautiful. I'm going to put on Joe Rogan again. Because I just want to paint in a little bit. But there's some things on here I really want you to hear, because it has to do a lot with this.
Philosophical connotations and the way that he uses the information he's getting from hallucinogenic experiences to speculate on how we should organise society, what the implications are for freedom. His refusal to accept that there are certain kind of experiences that should be prohibited, that it's ridiculous that adults should be prevented from having that. Yeah, I'm fascinated, but I'm also, I suppose, part of my bias is I love anything that gets me out of my head. I feel a tremendous sense of relief, whether it's through meditation or even sport or sex, being relieved of the burden of the constantly thinking mind. But when I hear like those
if it's not the 7 principles that you can't change,
realm or ayahuasca realm,
it's not
something
crossing any of those 10 commandments, which is just normal.
Do you worry that you're trying to get into
probably okay to do it by God's limits.
You're trying to find a loophole.
Yeah, because I am doing that. I'm looking for a loophole. It's like I'm going around like a sort of a trash lawyer looking for some way that I could get into. Is there? Hold on a second. What about this clause?
Trash lawyer. That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, I know people that have problems with addiction that have done psychedelics and didn't have a problem. But I'm sure some
psychedelics
people
actually get you out of all the
other
things.
Know about them. DMT
There's
is
actually plants that'll
interesting
get
in that,
rid
first of all,
of
it's very
addiction.
quick.
There's a
The
plant,
experience is only
then
about 15 minutes, 20
literally
minutes
cures
max.
addiction.
And it's also
Addiction.
it's
I know
not
a heroin
necessary.
addict.
It's
Addiction,
not
like
an
of
intoxicant in the way that you would
fentanyl.
think about
Because
traditional.
opiates and
You're
fentanyl
still
came out
you
right after they put the war
in
on drugs
face of
after
this
people opened their third
experience.
eyes, guys.
And
in the
I
revolution.
think
And they did the war on drugs
I
to
think
make
it's
you
some
afraid
sort
of
of a chemical
plants.
gateway.
Okay, but there's
And
plants
that's
out there
what I
that
think.
can
I think
actually
there's
take
a gateway
addiction,
in
the
your
actual
mind
addiction away in 4
that
days.
can lead to
And they
some
haven't
other
given it to you because
dimension
they
that's
know that.
probably there all the time.
If there is a
The more they can make you depend on them,
omnipresent,
the more they
continually
control you.
existing realm
But they only
that
control
human
your
beings
mind.
aren't accessing
You are
because
in
of the
control of
particular
all of it.
biochemical
This is not you,
formulation
you're
of
within.
consciousness
You're the
as
power.
it is in this point
You
in our
are the
evolution.
powerful
And that we
energy.
can get there. And it seems as, like,
So
you know, I've heard
one-
Terence McKenna say, it's more real.
As I am.
You know, it's more real. There's stuff in there.
Yes.
You know, and, excuse me, and when he talks about them beings, you know, like that he describes as self-dribbling basketballs, creating like Fabergé
Terence
like,
McKenna, you gotta look him up.
devices
He's
through
awesome.
vibration,
I
and they're
didn't
telling
see
you
it.
to do it.
I never
you
saw
want.
it.
I want
He's
that.
called the machine elves. He's called them all sorts of different things.
Yeah, he's not
way I've
the only one.
described
Lots of
them
people
is,
work with the
they're
elves.
the geometric patterns made out of love and
The different
understanding.
dimensions.
That's
So-
what they seem like.
So you
And
can
you
look
gotta
at
think,
geometrical
when we kill
pattern
everything,
and read
it's not just
meaning
us,
into
guys,
it. It
it's
had an
all the
emotional
dimensions.
quality.
They're made out
Therefore,
of
they're trying to
something,
work with
and
us
they
and
move,
help us
they
with the greater
change.
good for
Like
all
they
this,
don't
and we
stay
need to do
what
the
they
same.
are. They're
And
constantly
it's a beautiful,
evolving
magical
in front of
life.
you into
Like,
something
we're
more and more
so
beautiful.
much better than this
Very
rat race.
weird.
What did it make you feel?
Like I knew nothing. That was the most profound aspect. Like all of this stuff that you concentrate on every day is nonsense, and there is some other thing that's connected, that's probably influencing this world.
Yeah.
And it's probably what people see when they have near-death experiences, the depictions of the
I
afterlife.
love that, Joe.
It's
Like,
probably
Joe, I
what
love
it
that
all
we
is.
can
And
see you
religious
change just like
experiences,
over.
when prophets
the
talk
time of
about,
all
oh my
your-
God, I went into
you
this
know,
realm,
I like
there's
that, I
these
love it.
beings, they've told me we're all
If you
one,
really
we
want
have
to
to
know,
know
you
each
can
other.
see the difference
Scholars
of,
in
oh my
Jerusalem
God,
are
the
connecting Moses' experience with the burning bush to the acacia tree. The acacia tree, which is rich in DMT. The burning bush
DMT is
is what
within us,
God
yeah.
was to Moses. And that through this burning
It's
bush, he
the-
came out with
it's
these
the
10
raising of your
commandments
serotonins and
how
dopamine
people should live
levels.
their lives. I
right?
mean, that easily could have been
It's
just
the altering of
a
them,
very
which
convoluted
allows your
sort of
frequency, your brain to
translation
go
of
to the higher
DMT trip.
frequencies where
Certainly.
you can
And also,
then
when you
associate
think of,
yourself
certainly
and
there
see
are
the
archetypal
realms.
images that
You
seem to be
can-
repeated throughout
it's,
ancient cultures and
Mhm.
archaic
it is
stories
just the
that
raising
seem to
of your
refer
frequencies.
to
We are
the
all
potential for
frequency, we are all
plant
energy.
experiences to affect
they've dumbed it
consciousness.
down. They've done it
Even
with the
the
commercials,
Garden
the
of
halftime
Eden,
shows,
do
all
not
the-
eat
all
of
the
the fruit of the tree
frequencies
of
they're
knowledge,
putting into you and
otherwise you
forcing
will
on you.
become as
There are
gods.
frequencies that are
You know,
dumbing
like
us down.
I sense
Remember
that.
that.
Now, if
Don't
there
ever
is
let
some
anybody make
realm
you
that we
listen to
can
anything.
reach
As
through that
a lot of
experience
music
that
can actually make
puts
the
into
water
perspective everything that
freeze
else we
into, like,
experience in the
bad,
material
bad
realm, and that thing
designs.
seems to,
It's
in your
not
words,
harmony
be
anymore. That's
emanating
happening within
love
our
and
bodies with our
understanding, while
water.
ever changing, completely
What you
formless
put
and
in your
communicating
body.
love and understanding.
Really.
I
And
can't
not all
help but
substance.
think that
The
that
worst, some of the
should
worst things we can put
become
into our body, guys,
our
is the
priority
pharma,
to have a
pharma
relationship
vaccines,
with that
yeah,
realm
and,
and to
like not all the
bring
vaccines, but a lot of them, they're not tested. And the sounds, the vibrations that we live within, and the emotions that we then vibrate through our ears and our body. We need to be in a don't worry about a thing. 3 little birds out on my window.
about that
This
experience.
is a
I don't even mean in a
message for
literal way, because
you.
even Terence McKenna said there are some people,
Don't worry.
vulnerable souls, he was probably referring to people like me.
Over. Good boy. I know. He just wanted in his little cubby hole that I'm gonna make for him so that he can be on this show. Because this is my Ozzy Osbourne. When I got Ozzy, he stood in front of me. I was supposed to get another dog, and as I turned around to go pick up the dog, because the one was taken, literally Ozzy and Ozzy Osbourne, when you, dude, I know you are the chosen one, as am I. I'm an indigo. But he literally chose me. This dog chose me. He is my ride or die. He is also posted, the only mark on this dog is the number 7. And so look up 7 to research it. It's a beautiful number. Ozzy chose me. He was standing. I almost tripped on him as I turned around to go. I stopped, and he was sitting perfectly, already staring up into my eyes. And it took me a bit. I didn't name him right away, and I was like, I'm thinking, and Ozzy came to me because I love Ozzy Osbourne.
That
I'm like
probably
Ozzy.
shouldn't
But it's
mess
the
around
wonderful
with that
Wizard
kind
of
of
Oz
stuff.
too,
Really
as well,
talking about
right?
people's
Oh my God, it's so
schizophrenia,
many
right.
fucking
Which
universal
he
divine
believed he
influences.
had,
Oh my
by the
God,
way.
epiphanies.
Did he?
Yeah,
But Ozzy is my ride or
he
die.
had
He
some
has
very
chosen
unique
me.
perspectives on
Ozzy
schizophrenia,
Osbourne!
the
Meet Ozzy
way
Osbourne.
people
I call him
interact
Ozzy
with the world.
Osbourne.
So
He's a
I think if we lived in a healthy world,
but he
a
chose
healthy
me.
civilization
I'm
that had
not
a
the
healthy
chosen one, Ozzy.
relationship with
We
psychoactive
could
substances,
be
we'd probably have
chosen
centers
together. We are
where you would have a
one.
legitimate shaman a medical advisor, and someone would take you
I'm a
through
shaman.
A guided experience. We're doing that now with ketamine. There's a lot of people that are very depressed that are having these physician-controlled ketamine experiences that have had a profound effect on their depression. My friend Neil Brendan's gone through several of them, and he's a comedian, a very funny comedian, so when he was describing it was hilarious. And he was going to a doctor's office and tripping his fucking balls off, and the doctor's shooting him up with intramuscular ketamine. Oh my God. Yeah, and he's having these insane, I go, so you're having psychedelic experiences. He's like, oh yeah! The way he's describing it was really funny. I mean, tripping his fucking balls off in these whatever states that ketamine. I've never experienced ketamine. I don't know
I
what it
don't
does,
either, but I've watched people do
apparently profoundly
in there. It's like they're not there, and everyone
and
tries to say like not there, but they're not there because they're in a different realm.
For whatever reason,
I kind of want to try it
has
now.
a great impact on depression for a lot of people. I think it's a perspective enhancer, but it also does something to rewire the mind.
Well, what some of this suggests is that mental illness is a response to our material conditions, whether that mental illness is schizophrenia, depression, or addiction. It's like people are going, oh, hang on a minute, this isn't how we're supposed to live. I took that ketamine one time towards the end of my using, and as usual, it's not in the right type of environment. You should be doing stuff like that in a nightclub. You need to be under that shamanic conditions, white coat guy or whatever, who's nominated as shaman. But I felt like it was like going into a tunnel made of sound, and like having to navigate. Oh, shit, I'm still in reality. What am I going to do with it? As my sort of consciousness becomes a noise instead of a string of words and signs. How am I going to get out of this place? So, like, for me, it's clear that drugs were never meant to be recreational. In fact, they never were. I was never, hey, man, this is crazy.
No. I've been an alcoholic and a drug addict, guys. I
could probably kill myself. So
alcohol
like, it was a way of holding that stuff at arm's length. So I guess my renewed curiosity around DMT and ayahuasca and other sort of plant medicines, like, you know Daniel Pinchbeck, like them guys that are sort of part of that. I'm curious about it because I guess I'm continually trying to find a way where someone goes, right, here's a way where we can do it, where it's sort of safe. And I've heard of other people in recovery doing it. But when I think about what my motivation is when I hear people talking about and my own recollections of experiencing what felt like God, and by God I mean a sense of oneness, and that my individual identity isn't my real identity. I'm connected to everything, and love is the most important thing. I want a real experience of that, so that when I'm out in the world, I can remember when I'm driving, or when I'm dealing with people, or if I'm buying something, or if I'm feeling inferior or feeling superior, that, like you said, this is bullshit. This is like a secondary reality. Don't let it govern you. As someone that's been seduced by fame, a person like, oh, if I get this part in this film, then everyone's going to love me. Oh, if this stand-up set goes well, like a person that's placed all of my well-being outside of myself. There's certain knowledge that there is an inner connection that will take care of you, that's accessible. I guess I'm, hungry to sort of feel it in a way that's like, oh my God, now there is no doubt. So in a sense, it's a crisis of faith, not a crisis of faith.
Psychedelic states that you could achieve without taking anything. I mean, you can certainly get there in a flotation tank. You can get there through holotropic breathing. I've never done Kundalini yoga, but apparently the people that get really deep into Kundalini yoga can literally have DMT trips. I have friends that have done DMT and have experienced DMT trips through Kundalini. But you have to be really dedicated. It's a lot of time.
My other ex-girlfriend, sorry, I got two daddies. I got my two girls with mine, and my high school boyfriend. My dad and which we met very quickly, and we got pregnant, so I was the better path, and Keegan is a beautiful person.
Not from my personal experience, but from people telling me. Incredibly profound.
Yeah, I mean, I've had comparable things, I guess, that what it's, the difference between feeling something that's that overwhelming that gives you no choice. Like there's like, it's not like the Kundalini, you've got to do these breaths correctly, you've got to sit there, you've got to try again.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of Kundalini. Well, what for me, like what I felt quite a lot yogically and meditatively is a cessation of what I would call my individual consciousness. Like, oh, I'm not this. This isn't who I am. This is just a temporary experience, and all of the value systems of our world are built upon these primal drives in collaboration with a culture that likes to stratify people and manage people and operates like a massive farm, where it's easier to keep people together operating in these kind of ways systemically. I've sort of felt rushes of that, like a certain
with me all the time. He
wordless
couldn't get off the bus
clarity.
with the
You could
other
imagine
girls.
me having anything that was wordless
And
even
so it
for a
was
moment.
just
And,
better for
and
his
in that
fundamental
space,
life and
you know, there
his
is
own
great
life
peace.
and
So I suppose
happiness to
what's turning me
not
on
be in daycare
about
all the
the
time,
like the
as I was at
DMT and
work all
ayahuasca
the
thing
time,
is
and
that the way it's
he was of age,
narrativized,
so I
that
let
there's going to
him
be
go live.
characters
I
and stuff like
did
that,
admin
and
choice.
it's
I let
going to
him
be
go live with his
plain
father.
and beyond doubt.
He's
You know,
gonna
because
work 3
I
days a
suppose
week,
what
and
prophets do,
it's
you
just a better
know,
life.
like
He's
whether
already,
you know when
he's
a
in a
prophet
relationship,
returns
yes.
from the whether it's the
It's good.
burning
He
bush
has
or
good
the
life.
cave,
And I just want
they
to
come
know.
back
He
and they
only
say
watches videos
all
someday,
this
and I just
stuff
want to
that
know
you're
the
taking
absolute
seriously
truth,
is
and
not
that
real.
is it.
There's this
I
other
said I
realm.
had to do
Start
it. I had to
prioritizing
be
it,
out of the
or
house to
you are
work
going to
so
live
hard
in
to
hell
become
on
the
earth.
stupid
You're
person
going to
that
be
could be like,
governed by
no,
your
you ain't
materialistic
taking my
drives, your
job.
sexual
You
drives,
know,
and
I'll
it's going to
work hard.
imprison you.
Don't tell me I
And
can't do
it
anything.
turns
I won't
out
do
that
it. Like,
they're
you know?
right. And so, like, you know, I suppose what I'm
Don't be
after,
scared of
because
anything, guys. Don't
partly,
let
you
anybody
know, on
bully
a
you into
super,
anything.
like on one level,
But
influenced
also
by
make
what you're
sure
doing and
everybody
how
knows the truth
you've
of your
created
life,
your
so
own,
that
like you
everybody is
created your
potentially
own
aware of
business and
your
your own success,
truth
like
and the
this
truth in their life as
symbiosis
well.
of stand up and the podcast, and like it's
important.
become like a sort
Keeping
of a
it alive,
lifestyle
yeah.
brand in a sense, Joe. Like, you know, I'm sort of like, yeah, I don't want to be continually dragged into this like working within institutions. Like, you know, I'm over here doing doing ballers, and I'm bloody glad to be over here doing ballers and working with The Rock, and I've got a funny story about that if you want it. You know, like really what interests me is like, can I dedicate my life to humorously communicating spiritual information and indeed starting to live it? So like, and I suppose what that would mean is, you know, I'm getting better, that I'm not a person who's obsessed with porn or sex or drugs or whatever, like, you know, to become it. To become what you actually are, to recognise that we're all different. Your perfect realisation of you is going to involve hunting and all of these things that you've created through your gift, and that my perfect version of me is going to, you know, involve all of this. And not everyone needs to build sort of empires or entertainment industries or whatever, but all of us are on some journey to self-actualisation and realisation, as individual as our fingerprints and as natural as a seed turning into a tree. And if we don't have a way of accessing that, no wonder we're dissatisfied, no wonder we're there's an opioid epidemic, no wonder people are bored and angry and lonely.
Well, I think what you can do
with my
is be
complete
yourself,
energy
and what
and
you
full
can do is
control of
express
myself,
yourself, and what you
which is
can
not
do is constantly
harnessed and
seek to
given away
improve
or
and grow.
extremely
And you're
extract
doing those things.
in any
So you're
pleasurable
saying,
ways,
can I
which
do these things? Can I
it's
be
my path. So
comedic and
for
spiritual?
all anybody that
and
wants
what
to
you're
feel
doing?
like they're, you know, I'm
Right.
some kind
So
of
it can be
friend,
done.
I'm not
So
friend
it's
anyway.
you're
I'm
doing it.
you
You know, it's all just a matter of whether or not you're satisfied with your progress and where you are and who you are and how you express yourself.
to make
So your
all
pursuit
of,
for
to make
excellence, when
the
you're saying I've
awareness
got to get
of
better at
all of
BJJ
life
or
and the
archery
reality
or
of
hunting
all
or whatever,
truth,
that isn't
your divine
coupled with a
birthrights
sort of
and the
sense,
freedom
because you're not
and
fucking
divine
good enough.
birthrights of
So
all
that's
of
the
everything
ideal
on
that I've
earth is
There's
my
wonderment.
complete passion.
I love it.
joy.
And,
That's
Yeah,
so
all I
cool.
joy
want.
in it, and
I
there's
want
enthusiasm. I mean, in everything.
To realize, to
Archery in
start
particular,
realizing
it's very, you know, there's
their
that
true
book,
self.
Zen and the Art of Archery,
Let's
which
change
is
it up. Let's not even have
it's
the
an interesting
negative,
book.
positive there.
It's-
Like our realize need to
you know, I
realize
mean,
our
I
real
think there's some real
truth
great
and
points to it, but that state
live
of
it,
mind
live
that
it, be
you
happy.
get when you release an
I've got
arrow,
everything.
and that arrow perfectly finds its
Because
mark, really is
remember
Zen.
always,
It's
every
it
fall,
requires
you
so
try, you
much
signed up for it,
concentration
you put your
and
name
focus
on
and
there, so
technique
you
that
could
you
do it,
really
buddy.
don't think
You
about
knew
other
that you were
things.
strong enough
It's
to
cleansing
withstand,
in a lot of ways. It's
to handle
mind
that
cleansing.
storm. You are
I
not
find
gonna.
jiu-jitsu to be very
You
similar
are
that
the
way too.
storm,
That it's
baby.
so
You
all
chose it.
encompassing.
So when you fall,
It's so there's so
you
much on
know,
the line.
fucking
It's so
feel the pride
difficult to
that
do.
you got there,
That while it's
and you got
happening,
so
you're
far.
freeing
Look
your
forward.
mind up. I mean, I think
Because
of
you
video games in the
know
same way.
All of these things
that you
suggest,
got
that's
this.
bizarre, but like,
You
can handle it.
all of those things
There's nothing you
suggest
can't
a
handle,
transmission
because
between the inner
as
and
long as
outer
you
world.
walk with
You're
humanity,
looking at
as long
the
as you're a good
bullseye,
person,
and
as
then,
long
oh
as you
my
walk
God,
with God,
I've
you do
made
not want
this
for no
thing
good thing, right?
traverse time and
These are all
space. Or
fundamental
BJJ,
actions
I've been
given
shown
to us
again and
divine.
again how to execute this
If you
triangle,
me-
and
if
I've
you
just
metaphor them,
actually
they're
done
all
it
real
against
truths.
resistance.
It's
It's
true. You don't want for
amazing
anything, you just
to
want
feel
to
that. It's amazing
Yeah.
to feel that
And
your
that's
inner life can express
just
itself
ride
in the
it, baby.
material world,
Ride it
whatever,
happily.
wherever
Ride
you're
it.
looking to explore that.
And to test yourself.
yeah,
And when
yeah.
you test yourself and you have
You know, I
to
thought about that one all the
figure
time.
your way
Right,
through
right.
something or
Yeah.
change the path because the path you were on was unsuccessful. When you're doing that, it's really
Yeah, well,
good
we
for the
passionately,
mind
our
and
divine
for the-
soul purpose.
I
is
hesitate to
less
say
enough.
the spirit because I
You
think that
have
word
you have free will,
spirituality
right?
is so beaten
But no matter
down
what,
and
the
abused.
message
Doesn't
that
mean
you
it
are
become
here to
commodified.
convey,
Yeah, it's
to
like-
bring out, to
yeah, it's like
ride,
when people call
like
themselves
ethics
a
and moral,
healer.
and all that.
Are you
You
really?
will.
Yeah,
No matter what, you'll be walking that path.
Yeah.
It's just the high road or the low road. Which one do
We're
you
all
choose?
healing. I mean, we really are all healing each other. But I think there's something to doing difficult tasks that it makes life easier. I really believe that. I think it makes life more enjoyable. I think it makes the bright colors brighter. and it makes the dull
Yeah,
colors,
maybe
even them, even the bad moments. If you have real positive experiences with difficult things that you choose to do on
icicles
your
outside.
own, I think it mitigates
I took off,
most of the
I
hassle
I
of
was seen here.
Yes, I agree with that.
That
is-
sheet on the
yeah,
back
and
of
I'm
my
not
trailer was
talking
like
about
this
because,
thick.
like,
I know, like it was full. I'm like,
all
oh,
right
the
with
guys
carrying
on
things
this.
do. But the point of this mentorship is the idea that someone will exhibit qualities that you recognise you haven't fully realised in yourself, and that you can sort of model them and realise them because latently you have those qualities.
Oh, like Kevin Hart, we were talking about how
Right.
admirable I find his positivity.
It made me
so,
think
so real.
it's unbelievable. On a practical level, I thought,
Yeah, must be
the way
about
he's
minus, like,
building
20
his
something, or
stand-up,
minus
that
24
guy's
something,
fucking
it's
diligent.
sketch,
And the amount
yeah.
like when he talked through his work schedule, you
Because of
fetish
that phone about me, I rigged up this
talk
place.
about Dwayne Johnson and Kevin
Move
Hart.
my ears,
Like,
so
you
hopefully
like
I
the
just-
idea of men. I'm up at those
put
people.
my ear
I'm
back
up
on.
too. I'm in the cryo
I
chamber.
don't do that.
I hopefully you guys can all hear this perfectly good. I'm like looking at my phone like as if I can hear the video as it's gonna be in the future.
They don't do. But I
We're
also,
conditioning right there.
you know, unlike The Rock, at least, I
That
do
was what
stand
we
up, and
called
Kevin
one.
does stand up too, obviously. I don't know if he does it as
Girls
much
end
or as
up
often
being
as I
one,
do.
so don't ever even think
Because I
that
do the
badly.
clubs. I have a
It's
philosophy
just funny
about
how we
what's
made our words into
required
these
to develop great
things you can
stand-up.
really use
That
as
you have to
epiphanies
do
and funnies
a
now.
lot of
Really,
sets.
if
You have
you
to do a
really
lot of
just
numbers, a lot of
turn it
different
around in your
places,
head and think
different
of everything
environments,
as
and I
funny,
found that
like
out the
the
hard
epiphany
way.
of them
Through my best performances
you
and
can
my
laugh at
less
everything.
good
You can.
performances, like
Trust
what
me,
was
my book is
missing
about
and
it.
what did I
I'm gonna
gain?
help you.
You
Use like
this I
cosmic,
think is a sort of an
cosmic
interesting
principles. There are many
debate.
principles too.
You know, I don't know if it's in
Perceive
stand-up
things in a
world
different
at
manner
large,
so
but
that
it's
you
something
can
I've
understand
thought
it.
about a
And
lot.
then,
It's like that.
why the hell
As
am
soon
I
as
even
I was
worried
able
about
to
that?
have an audience
Get
that
back
would
on
come and
track.
see me, I was like,
That's what
I'm
we need to
out.
do. We need to
Thank
help
you,
each other.
God. Like, you know, I'm not putting
each other
myself
see the
through
light.
that shit ever again.
Doug Stanhope feels the same way, by the way.
Does
He's
he?
one of the best ever.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. I completely agree. And like, because I thought, like, because what I feel like is that the comedy club environment warps your material because you've got to appeal to them. And I think you ain't the fucking arbiters of truth.
I'm doing my, like, life
crazy
path,
2
my first year,
a.m.
I'm like,
motherfuckers.
I'm gonna do this because
So
my
I
friend
get
made me
like I
this
perform.
sticker
What
of,
I'll
like,
do is
this,
like, and what I'm doing
New
say at the
Resident
moment
Sun.
is I'll book the
Let's see,
UCB,
I have lots of
like
friends that
or
watch
like
me
places
after this,
100,
that's awesome.
200, or go Largo or put
So I'm
on
gonna add
events,
on
and
to
I'm doing
that,
events
and
while
this
I'm
is
in
gonna be
LA
my-
because I think, oh, these
I'm
people come and they
there,
love
that's my
me
path
and they
in
bring
mind.
me beads and
Yeah, that's
they
my-
here's some
this
vegan
is gonna be all
cookies.
Oh, you gotta come to the
my
comedy
passion
store, man, and
moments
go on
of,
after
like,
Joey
my
Diaz.
mirror, all the mirrors and my smile, my smiling,
Because I
and then
feel like I like a nurturing environment again, because I've done that.
ritual.
I've done those fucking clubs,
And,
like
my
you know, and
path,
even
then my
comedy store
falls
and
and
late
my
at night comedy
rises
store in
and
LA, you know, as
finding
well as
truth in the
London.
promised
And I feel like,
land
oh
and
Jesus,
humanity
thank
and
God,
loving.
and after so like
And
I'm
just,
interested
you know,
to
my
you.
dancing
That's
down the
part of
street and
that.
telling
What I
people
think
they're
some people
beautiful
could
and
reductively
living
refer to
truth
as
and ethics and
machismo
morals and
in you,
and
like when you
finding
go,
that
no,
right
I'm going
vibe.
in there.
Well, you know what
And
it is? It's
I
that
show
guy
all
that
in with many
mounted
visions
you
in
and
my-
went for the armbar
my
and you
actual-
escaped.
I'm going for my
Right.
spiritual
It's
and
worth
my
it because it
physical
was hard.
perceptions
You
together
realize
into
if
this
a
artwork.
child
And
got
then
on top
comes
of
to
you
my
and went for an
physical
armbar and you
my-
escaped, you'd feel nothing.
my
So when you're at
divine
Largo,
self,
you're
my goal,
performing
my
for children.
everlasting, never-changing, constant
You're
flowing.
doing child
and
stand-up.
constant-
It's like you're
constant
wrestling with
because there's
100-pound
never-
women who just started yesterday.
It's like the Make-A-Wish
universal knowledge of
Foundation.
things,
Come on, Russell, then tell us your
There's
stories.
nothing that
now.
can never
no
stop when you're
amazing.
seeking
Oh,
something
wonderful.
so
You brought in flowers.
universal.
Thank you,
Yeah.
children.
Ongoing
But like, look, the
soul
counter
path.
argument to that
Yes.
is that
Worth
therefore
walking
I'm
for
in
me.
an
It's worth every
environment
second of
that
it.
is sympathetic and it is my audience, and I'm not biasing. The idea of overcoming a greater obstacle. I completely appreciate what you're saying. But say you believe in the purity of stand-up as being some real expression of yourself, as in the arrow hitting the bullseye. I feel like I have a vision of what I'm trying to achieve, and increasingly it's becoming about I want my stand-up. I want to hang on, like as I've always done, stories where I feel embarrassed and humiliated, but I want to hang off it ruminations on what I believe to be the nature of truth, and I want people to come out of those things feeling loved, validated, accepted, and that they're good enough and that they can explore themselves. That's
So it's
what,
more of a one-man show.
in a sense, it's that. But I don't want to like sacrifice the laughs. Do you know what I mean? I love the laughs. The
that's-
laughs, where we're at. That's
But
a
you don't have
given.
to sacrifice in a one-man show. I mean, you can certainly do a one-man show that'd be really funny.
But say you start going into, that's what I'm doing, and I'm sort of like I'm trying to build things like around 12 steps and trying to, like doing things that people have some takeaway
yeah.
value
Yeah.
from. Now, like, trying to develop that after Joey Diaz in the store,
It's not gonna happen.
there's going to be some resistance.
You aware of Hannah Gadsby and the controversy of
Yeah,
this?
what do you think about
thing on the
that?
net?
So
I
my
haven't seen
colors,
it.
like,
Yeah,
and
nor
if
do
you
I.
look on
Say
it,
I'm
you
gonna
look up
see a
Jimi
clip.
Because what
Hendrix,
the end of
which
comedy
I
and all
knew,
that kind of
like,
thing.
when I came
It's no
across
end of comedy, but
I
she,
was
what
looking
she's
up the
doing,
New Rising
people
Sun
like.
as that's my
And
spiritual
there's
What do you
nothing
think?
wrong.
to me
I
in
don't
the field
know.
during the
Call
spiritual
whatever you
divine.
want. Sometimes it's
On the New
fun.
Rising
Maybe
Sun,
it's stand-up
and,
comedy.
Some
Maybe
of
it's
my
her
mates watch it
version
and
of
they tell me
And
stand-up
as I
towards the
looked it
end,
up,
like,
you
become
know,
a
they
sort
have
of
the
quite aggressive
Japanese
towards the audience.
Second World War,
Yeah,
which means
it
like they
became like
have
a
the sun
TED
in
Talk
there, the
almost,
rising
I guess,
sun. They were
I'm
hoping for
interested
the
in,
depiction of the
that's,
change
yeah,
of
there's
humanity.
enough
They were
room for
hoping
everyone
for
to
the,
explore,
the,
to
all
do
the
whatever
silver
they're doing.
lining
But
and
like,
not the
see,
silver
at
lining,
the
the
beginning
actual
of my
truth, you know, they were looking for that.
career, like I used to not prepare
You know,
at
the new
all.
day,
I was still
the new
drinking
rise,
music. I'd go up on
the
stage, I'd
change,
chop shit
the
up, I'd
changing
get
of
into
the earth,
confrontate,
and
like when I say chop shit up,
Pioneers told me,
I'd take up
I was here
animals,
for.
animal parts, like got from
Jimi
butchers,
Hendrix,
like a
those
skull
colors
with
of
all
Bionic,
meat and
the
stuff
case
and
of the blue and
sinew
the
on it,
purple
chop
are
it
my
up, Friday, they would
favorite
release
colors. The
locusts,
music and
get into
all the
confrontations.
guitars and the
Like, so
wine
yeah,
from
exactly. The
children
reaction
to
you're
know
having is the
how
reaction
music
they
and
were
that
having.
type of
Like, so
thing.
some of
Really
that
deep
background, I
into,
had like
to play guitar
fights.
was
I've
like
got
God,
scars on
we
my
wanted to
body
talk
from
last
bad
year.
stand-up gigs,
Which I'm
from a
not too
time
bad
where I
at,
got into a
pretty good, actually,
confrontation.
you know, if I
Like
just like
I was
flow,
making a
it
point
was
about
pretty
pedophilia, saying, oh,
And,
we're all one cultural mind, so when a
so
particular
his
paedophile is transgressed
manifestation
against a
and his
child, we're all
desires of that
responsible.
CD,
You're like,
which
what
is,
the fuck?
you know, the first song on there is
I
Freedom.
got the
It's
shit kicked
Freedom,
out. Well, that
guys.
time, I've still
And
got the
he
scar on my leg that happened
manifested
in Edinburgh in
it's the
Scotland.
goal of
People didn't take it well.
1983,
And like, so, but what I was trying to
And he
do
played that
was
song,
like
and it says
create.
on the
I
CD,
had
I
the
looked at the
skills,
CD
the
about
chops, the
It
experience,
said a
the
date for
jokes.
everyone
So I was
in
so
for all the
under-equipped.
songs, you know,
But
June
like, what I was
20th or
trying to
June
do was
17th.
create environments that felt.
the
I'm
May
much
and
better at
September,
doing
whatever
that
it
now.
is,
I
right?
can create a
But
kind of an
the one, Hey
uncertainty in a
Baby,
room, a
about the
kind of
girl
sense
that
of
comes and
chaos
she
and what's happening, and then
smiles
bring it
and
back
she
to
spreads and
hope,
spins
to
love
a
and
humorous
awareness
conclusion
and
where people feel
truth to
safe and
you and you and
amused
you
and
and
all
you
that kind of
as
stuff.
I'm
Now I
spreading
think it's
divine truth to
you
you and you
can't,
and you
like,
and
because I
you.
did try
My
and do that in
absolute
comedy
truth.
clubs, and yeah, it was
And,
complicated, not what people want.
he-
So don't you
he
think that
taken
by
back to the promised
prepping your
land,
stand-up in
he
those
manifested
environments,
that,
that
and,
it biases you towards
it
a
was
type
the
of
CD's
stand-up
called
comedy
the
that
first
is
race of the New
limited?
Rising Sun.
No, because you can do
As I
that
was
other
giving my
stuff
name, the
too.
New Rising
You could
Sun,
always
and I was born
perform
in
to your
1983,
crowd,
guys.
and you could always
In
expand on
June.
things to your
And
crowd.
the month
But
that he
to
played
really
that song, Hey
put it
Baby,
together
multiple
without
times it says,
any
it doesn't give one
fluff,
date, it said in June
without
he
any
played that song
nonsense,
multiple
without being
times.
self-indulgent,
He manifested the
respecting the
shit
attention
out of
span of
that,
the
as
audience
he
that
was
may or may
a-
not even be
he
there
was
to
a
see you.
wizard.
Most
They called
likely
him
is
the
not.
wizard
You go to
Jimi
a comedy
Hendrix, as
club
he
and
had
there's
learned
a
alchemy,
large,
and he
you know,
was
if you go to the
working
comedy
with
store
divine
any night of the
nature.
week,
He
there's
was working
15 plus
what
people
they
on the
called the
marquee or
Altair.
on
He
the
was
list.
working like with
And the show
Nikola
starts
Tesla
at
and
8
Albert
p.m. or 9
Einstein.
p.m.
He was
depending
working
on
in
the
spiritual
night. It
realms
goes
with
to 2
different
o'clock in the
dimensions.
morning.
And
And
he
you know, you
learned
catch waves in there.
he
and
learned the universal
there's
law of
different
attraction
types of
and how to
comedy.
manifest
And
his
in that,
future.
you're going to deal with sometimes
Which I
tired
believe.
audiences,
I'm
sometimes
not sure.
enthusiastic
You know
people.
that
It's all
the little,
different. It varies
within me.
And I think
as I
that
resonate when I say,
in
you know,
doing
Jimi
that,
Hendrix was
you
within
cut
me,
all
like,
the nonsense out of
he is
your
my
act,
truth,
and
he
you
is my-
develop
see, I'm
economy of
resonating
words.
right now, and
You
it's
understand how to
so
captivate
exciting
people's
to
attention
feel
and
it,
keep
and
them
to know it. And
engaged,
when you
and to
feel
respect
something,
their
you know it's true.
time.
Thinking
Respect
something
their
doesn't make
point
it
of
true.
view. Respect
Thinking is an
that these people have an
imagination
attention
that's
span. They
pure,
want to be
overwhelming us.
engaged
But
in the best
feelings
possible way that you can do it.
And knowing,
And sometimes you
knowing,
develop
knowing, like,
that
not knowing, I
through
think I know.
these really
I know.
difficult sets, or
And I
you know,
feel
distracted
that's
people
true.
and drunks and all that stuff. You can develop those qualities. You're always going to have your crowd, and what your crowd. I mean, if you have this vision of how you want to put things together, you could put that kind of thing together at a comedy club. You're doing it in these 15-minute chunks. You just have to figure out a way to grab them and make them really interested in what you have to say.
You're right, because there's obviously
So I'm actually
in
doing
like the
my
comedy
rising
store
sun with
between
the
now
purple
and
and the blue